The Olympics today, the men's tournament preliminary round finally finished. We had some surprises. We had some interesting scores that popped up. And as a result, we now have the top four teams taking a bye into the quarterfinals: Slovakia, Canada, Finland, and the US. And surprisingly, inside the playoffs, we've got heavyweight like Sweden once not being able to make it. So, what do you guys think of today's tournament, or today's matches, and how they turned out?
Germany losing to the U.S. Was expected, though. Things were felt closer watching it than they actually did. I mean, it's you can't count against a team that has Drysdale on it, even if they have a few other Rags players, from what I understand, on board with that team as well.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to see more out of Germany, especially with Timmy Stew, Cider, and Dreisaitl. Like that's a good lineup. Was hoping to see more out of them, but unfortunately, that didn't happen for them.
Yeah, the U.S. so
Germany's
sorry.
Germany's very top line heavy. So, Paterka, Stutzla, Draisaitl. Outside of that, the depth is not there to match up with the United States at this time.
Yeah,
Also, was Gru hurt? They didn't start Gru.
I think it was because it was a back to back. So they started Grubauer yesterday, and today they went with Franzeb.
yeah.
That
Look at how they started. Look at how Hellebuck was benched yesterday, even though yesterday, and they put what's his face in there from Boston instead of
Wayman.
Swayman instead of the Otter.
well, they had to know that they were playing the states, and I would have gone with Gru for the states. Like that just makes more sense to me, regardless of whether you think one goalie's better than the other.
I,
Gru sees NHL shots.
I think I think I
That's
think
a confusing decision for me.
I think they might have been looking at it like it's an expected loss, and if they only have a win chance of, let's say, random numbers, not saying this is how strong or weak Germany is, if they have an expected win chance of 15% versus playing the next game or versus the game before where they might have an expected win chance of, let's say, 35%, they might be willing to take the more guaranteed chance of the goalie pulling a win.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I don't know when a goalie gets hot, like it doesn't matter how many games in a row or how many days in a row they play, the goalie's hot, and uh, just with the skill level of the states, Canada, like even Sweden and Finland, I would have just given Grubauer all of the time he needed to try and get hot. Like that
Agreed.
was that would have been because Dreisaitl's going to show up. Timmy Stew's going to show up. Sider's going to have a good tournament. JJ Paterka, like those are not going to be like the difference maker because pound for pound, Canada, the states, they can all match that one for one. The difference would have like needs to be in goal. Like the question marks with Bennington and net, um,
Yeah,
and
though
you got to go.
it's saying that Drysdale is going to show up. I mean, it's like he didn't have anything there. Like he had a few minor moments, but it's I felt like Drysdale at least half the time during today's game was mostly invisible.
Oh
So
yeah, they
here's
probably matched him up like really well. But like if they're matching up Draisaitl, that leaves Stützle
Sure.
to make to do some damage, leaves Paterka to do some damage. I feel like when you've got a goalie like Hellebuck and you need to match that, Grubauer would have been the play for me. And then with the weakness that Canada's got in net, that could have been the difference.
I'll pull a comparison. I'll pull the obvious comparison that I saw something on our hockey memes today, where it's just like Drysdale is always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Oh yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that
that was
shirt from Kachuk. That was good.
yeah. It's just
yeah.
like, yeah,
Well,
that
here
makes sense. It's just like, well, the bride is over here over Canada, who's laying it up, who's proving the fact that right now he is top three player in the world. And I've been a Matthews critic for a while with this game and some of the other games. Matthews is proving the fact that, yeah, maybe he's not, in my opinion, he's not deserving of being captain for Team USA, but he is showing the fact that he can play at this level. He can be a big time scorer, at least in the round robin so far. The
For sure.
last year with the Four Nations, he was a little bit invisible, at least on the offense side of things. But it's if you could change the comparison with Matthews over to back to Drysaitel over to McDavid, Draisaitl is like he didn't. There was no big flash. He had some good possession. He had some good shots. There was one good shot in particular. I think happened in the second, but I can't remember exactly. Versus like if you compare it to multiple players on the U.S. multiple players, and obviously they're different caliber teams. But if you compare it over to what we've seen over Sweden, Sweden and Finland, and even a bit of Czechia, they've had star players on those teams that have just taken over moments. They've shown their skill level, if it hasn't been for the entire game. Versus
So I'm going to point out,
people were talking about Germany being a dark horse for a medal. It was just like I don't see that, at least from this one game.
I'm going to
Yeah,
point out one thing. Hold on,
Yeah, go ahead.
So yesterday, Germany played Latvia. They put Grubauer in for that game. In that game, Draisaitl played 28 plus minutes. I think they were aiming to get the win yesterday versus Latvia.
That's what I was talking about earlier with
Unfortunately-
the goalies, the 15% chance for a win versus let's say 35% chance for a win.
Unfortunately, they were not expected to lose to Latvia. Latvia is not that strong of a team,
Yeah,
or there were a
Yeah.
lot of defensive breakdowns.
I mean it was a close
in the third
game,
period.
4 versus 3, but it's Germany with the NHL talent. Now, obviously, World Juniors, Latvia would semi-normally beat Germany. Germany's sort of fallen off a bit over the past 5 years, but this is NHL talents. This is like it's not a small sliver of a generation. It's multiple generations worth of talent playing at the same time. And
Yeah, I definitely would have expected that big line to seal
Yeah.
Latvia away. Yeah.
Though it goes the same way the other way. I mean, I can't remember. Did Elvis wind up playing that game versus Germany?
Uh, Germany versus Latvia was Seeloffs.
Oh, okay.
Today, also Seeloffs.
Okay.
Elvis played the first game, got lit up by the U.S. They brought
yeah.
in Seeloff.
I mean, he got lit up. He got
Democracy.
lit up, but like everything other than the rest, everything was just going U.S.'s way in that first game. And he still made he actually no. What am I thinking? Like he got Elvis got injured during the first game. He got pulled partway through because of an injury. Not to it. I presumably both of you don't know anything about that.
I do know that he got pulled on injury, but I don't know like what the report is on that.
Okay. That's disappointing. I should have thought to look that up. But yeah, no, it's U.S. is looking good. Germany not so much. Latvia is swinging above its weight, which I absolutely love to see. I mean, it would have been. Now I know. Will, you're obviously you're from Canada, but I would have
Yep.
loved to see. I would have loved to see Italy in that first game. Pull out the win there. It would have been so entertaining.
Yeah, that would have been good for entertainment. Speaking of like, I don't know, I guess teams that have not done great. I mean, Switzerland got an OT win over Czechia,
Yeah.
and now we've got a potential first, like a quarterfinal matchup between Canada and Czechia. Potential,
Oh,
obviously.
You saw me joke about that
And
earlier.
there's the potential for either some hilarious things to happen, or for the men's team to actually get some
Challenge.
revenge. I wonder, was
Okay.
Celebrini a part of the last, or like a team that lost to Czechia? That would be an
Yes,
interesting.
he definitely would have been. It's with World Juniors, it got eliminated the past 3 years.
3 years, yeah. So he might have been on one of those teams, and maybe he'll try and make a
If
statement.
he was not either injured or did not, if he, exception obviously if he was injured, but if he did not make the World Junior team in the past 3 years, I would have been shocked. Given obviously what he is today, I mean, it's just like talking about Schaefer not making the team.
Yeah,
On the flip side, Denmark knocked Canada out of the World Championships last summer.
This is true. Denmark
So-
is
it's true. It's true.
very much a like glass cannon team. It's like they could look great, or they could look like shit.
Yeah, Celebrini
they-
played in the 2024 World Juniors, and then the 2025 World Championship. So
Hey,
yeah,
one
I could
from one to
see.
the other is impressive to begin with.
Yeah, yeah. So I fully expect if we have a Canada Czechia matchup, he's gonna bring his A game. Also, did you see the line that they've got now? Celebrini, McDavid, and McKinnon. That is
Yeah, I
like
was hearing about
some
that.
that is some evil
This
stuff.
this is this is
That
this is why I so much wanted Schaefer to go. Is like give him the game versus France. You're allowed to bring extra players. You can dress more players than you would for the NHL. It's like just let him be there in the room and be in their room, meet the people, get to train with them and see what the high level compete is like, and give him one game, the game against France. And looking at
but
the game against France,
who do you leave at home?
I had an answer to that like a month ago. I can't remember now. I've been too focused on other things, like staring at the two different games I watched today with the Denmark game and the US Germany game.
I mean, if I was forced to bring Schaefer, because that would be such a an arm twist, I'd probably leave Bennett at home. Like you've got Seth Jarvis as your extra forward. You could have Schaefer there as an extra defenseman.
But what if
But you're
what
running
if you
9D.
say what if you say thinking back to it, screw the right handed left handedness of it, leave Drew Doughty at home. Left hand versus
No,
right
I don't.
hand.
I don't think so. He has played. I know he's getting up there in age, but like he is so calm out there. Like he looks good. Like he hasn't missed any sort of time. Even with his he was injured at the start of the season. I don't. There's not a world I do not have Drew Doughty on that lineup.
I know. Sounds like nostalgia for like 2010, 2014.
Drew Doughty also plays like a top dog, so he is going to get people going with him.
Oh yeah, for
So,
sure.
so
And like
even if
all
he's
of the
not getting
defensemen
the
that
top
Canada have
minutes,
got, I don't see a world where I wouldn't want them there, and that includes Drew Doughty.
Uh,
Um,
like obviously everything I'm saying is a homer type thing. I'm just fan, but
sure,
it's just like I credit at least 50% of the success that the Islanders have had across the lineup to Schaefer being there. To the way that he's been able to play and the way he's sort of like forcefully given everyone else the I love hockey again dopamine hit for being there playing away. Like kind of the way this seems like Celebrini's doing. I think that's part of the reason why he's playing up there with McDavid on the top line. But it's obviously veteran presence is a big thing. Obviously, I understand and respect veteran presence. I mean, that's why with those two big runs that Lou Lamoroto had with us with the Islanders, it's veteran guys who can play their role were brought in forward. That's why we made the move. That's why the Islanders made the moves that they did. But it's also sometimes just more youth and more energy and people that you're not going one game in and you're resting them like every other game is just like the whole idea is like they only play one game and they're resting Marchand already after you already had what 5 days without a game, 5 6 days out of the game. It's like, are you not good enough to play it back to back?
yeah, yeah. Again, all of the defensemen that Canada brought, I see no, and that might be why like Schaefer isn't there. It's just because the
Yeah,
70 that they got, they're all
but yeah,
perfect.
it's I'm not saying that any of them are not Olympic caliber defensemen. Of course, I'm not. Also, I think there's still technically one or two players that they're not dressing for the games as well for
Sure.
defensemen because you're allowed to dress seven defensemen for the game itself. I'm not saying to
Yep.
dress him for every single game. I'm saying to let him be there and dress him for one game, which was the game against France.
Right. Right.
And then
Again,
you have someone
but
who can slot
you'd
in
have to
there.
send somebody home
I know,
because
I
you
know,
can
I
only have
know.
a max roster size. But like to your point, I wouldn't have been heartbroken if Sam Bennett was not there and instead.
Well, you got a vendetta against him, so it's.
But
Sam Bennett
also like
with a
he hasn't had
Burns for
a great
Christmas.
year this year, so it's like
Sure.
I don't know. Like I would have been a-okay with Schaefer instead of Bennett because I like Jarvis a hell heck of a lot more than Sam Bennett. What Sam Bennett brings to a lineup is not what is allowed in Olympic hockey. Even
Sure.
with the NHL officials going down there to teach double IHF officials not to flinch at a big hit. Um,
It's like
you
the
know, quoting
bronze
out.
standard teaching the bronze standard there, but okay.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And just what Sam Bennett brings, and he's a good hockey player, is just I don't think it's necessary in the Olympics.
Yeah, yeah. It's the only person off the top of my head right now, especially thinking about some of the stuff that's happened between Bennett and the Leafs. Is that would have been the worst example would be hypothetically if like Trudeau was there. I don't think
Yeah.
it's like I think about obviously Tim and I joke about Tim one of the Rankers joke about his flying elbow he did in the playoffs a few years back when it was still playing for the Rags. It's just like how was that not a call? How was there no disciplinary hearing there? And just like and that's the type of shit he's still doing in Anaheim.
Yep.
Well,
And now
we
Anaheim is
can
doing well, and it kind of feels like he's just always getting away with it.
Yeah, yeah.
all right.
Though
Moving on to other teams.
sounds
We've
good.
talked about Canada quite a bit. Looking at the other big matchup that's going to potentially come up, USA versus Sweden.
All I've heard
Potentially.
is terrible things about the Swedish coach. I think that's an easy win for the States.
Are you sure Latvia's not going to pull it out? I mean, Latvia. We just talked about them swinging above their weight.
They're swinging above their weight, but this is I mean, yeah, they upset Finland, but I, Sweden saw them. Sweden beat them
Sure.
in the round robin.
I was more making a joke about that. About
All right,
that.
I was talking about Slovakia. My mistake. Sweden. That was Slovakia. That's the next topic. My apologies.
It's all good.
Latvia.
I was more making a joke about World Juniors for 2025. I was at 2015. 2025 with beating Canada.
Yeah, that was
That's
a
all.
one-man wrecking crew. Eric Matejko, who got injured actually before this tournament, injured his Achilles, so he's out. So they couldn't bring him along.
Yeah, there's been a
But
few people that have gotten injured like right before the tournament, unfortunately. Yeah, it's Sweden and Finland are both playing dark horse. I think Finland is the superior of the two big Nordic countries right now. It's Sweden like they don't have goaltending right now that literally stands out of my head. Their players are, but like some of their star players just old. Like how old is fucking Eric Carlson now? I mean, it feels like he's been in that role for forever.
Eric Carlson is not even the oldest player on the team.
Well, that doesn't surprise me given what I just said.
He's 35.
Yeah. Okay, maybe he's a little bit younger than I thought. So I'll give her. I thought he might have been like more like 37, but still,
Yeah,
it's
Markstrom's the oldest
he's
guy on the team.
who?
I mean, he's 35, but he's still averaging almost 25 minutes a night. Like he's getting ridden
Sure,
hard in Pittsburgh.
sure, but I think that's partially just the situation. Like Pittsburgh obviously doesn't have much else to really give him.
Yeah, yeah,
It's you got to play the people you got. If it's people you got, if no one else there. There's a big thing within the Islanders fandom right now. It's like we love, and it feels like everyone's finally on agreement. It's like obviously we don't like Tony D'Angelo. We don't like him at all. We would love to put someone else in there, but in our entire prospect pool as a whole, there's like one right-handed defenseman. One. So who else? And that's the whole reason why I got him before because we needed a right-handed defenseman.
right,
So I
right.
feel it's I need to double check. I have it open here now. Yeah, he's right. Is Eric Carlson is the same type of thing. I bet if Pittsburgh Penguins had a right-handed defenseman, or if Sweden had a better right-handed defenseman, it would have been no brainer right away.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
right-handed defensemen are just so rare to come by. It's like gold that it's when you have them, you sort of like twist your arm every single night. You have to keep playing them. You have to keep playing them.
So
yeah,
going back to Sweden,
Sorry.
yep.
Yeah, I know. I
potential
do know
quarterfinal,
that. Sorry.
potential quarterfinal against the U.S. The way I look at it is one of the things the U.S. did not bring with them is goal scoring, and Sweden has the defensive capability to shut them down.
You got goal scoring all up and down the lineup though. Like you got Matthews tonight with like two. Nelson should have had a hat trick the other day. We talked about this when it was happening.
Yeah. I,
It's Brady and Matthew Tkachuk are both producing. Tage Thompson has two. It's they're producing pretty well.
I think it's the State's game to lose. That being said, like the Swedish coach, I think he's like playing Philip Forsberg like 3 or 4 minutes a night over and like under like Pontus Holmberg and like don't get me wrong, he's a former Leaf and I love the guy, but I'm picking Philip Forsberg over Pontus Holmberg every day of the week. Like Forsberg's got a Corsi Rel of over 12. That's like when he's on the ice, whoever he is with, they are better. I like a 60% Corsi 4, like against NHL players, and I don't know what that coaching staff is doing, but he needs ice time. You might have a shot if you give him ice time.
It says something about an international player or a higher level of play. Like when players get there, they just play better. I mean, I'll go back to a different player for international stuff like Yaroslav Alak. That Team Europe he got to play with, or when he was replacing Carey Price when he was with the Habs. He is a goalie and as a just player. Let's have with other players that one to get put into the right situation, just step up to match whatever that layer that level is. It's
Oh,
if he's playing for a honestly I'll just say a bum team, and he's not and the team's not playing well, he's not going to play well. But if he but when he's playing for a good team, oh he's playing amazing hockey. I went to the World Cup of Hockey game between in the semifinals between Team Europe and Team Sweden to see the Islanders versus the Rags, Islanders versus Rangers, Team Europe versus Team Sweden game, and that was a fantastic game that went to was it 3-2 overtime, and he made some absolutely amazing saves during that. Then throughout the entire tournament, I mean, he kept Canada. I think the final was a 2-1 game if I remember right for that year, and it's Halak played a fantastic game throughout the entire
You guys have been
tournament.
playing the highest level of hockey their entire lives, and I don't know when you go up against the best, like they're gamers. They're
Yeah,
gonna step up to it. Um, so and like
then
for
there's also certain people that just like fall flat. They're just like I'm here to do my thing and just leave it at that. I mean, that's why I felt with Adam Fox last year with Four Nations.
sure. Uh, I do not feel like
well,
that
sorry.
with.
I'm going to correct you on Philip Forsberg. They finally unshackled him in the game against the
Oh, all
Blackhawks.
right. And how did he do? Did he put up points?
He got an assist.
Uh-huh,
Played
there you go.
11 minutes and change with
11 whole minutes for Philip Forsberg. Wow. Now imagine, okay, he gets a point in 11 minutes and you play him the 15, 16, maybe even 17 minutes he should get, gets another point. Like,
well, he's playing third line minutes. On the top line, they've got
I don't
Olerchenek,
care. Crosby's playing third line minutes for
Nylander.
Canada, right? Like, just get him on the ice.
But Crosby's not a
They
kid
they got
anymore.
him on the ice.
He's the kid is the opposite of him. People just say that nostalgically now.
Yeah, right. Sid the
It's
kid, and he's almost 40.
it's like Barzal's the same age as me. It's just like they call us like, oh, is that the kid that won the Calder? It's like, yeah, he won the Calder 9 fucking years ago. It's just like, yeah, fine. I guess the joking saying is gonna stick around, but not quite anymore.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but
what
yeah,
was
yeah,
it?
yeah. But back
They
to
there wasn't like Phil Kessel also have a nickname of like a Phil the Kid, something like that as
Phil the
well.
Thrill.
Phil the Thrill.
Phil the
Okay,
Thrill.
It was Phil the Thrill, yeah.
okay, so it wasn't quite an age thing with that, but still, it's just like there's
Going back
multiple.
to
This
Pontus,
happens.
going back to Pontus Holmberg, they finally benched him in the last game. He only got 2 minutes and change of ice time.
Thank goodness. Okay, so like my expectation of Sweden is now sky high. Okay, if they're going to need obviously Philip Gustafsson to play like Philip Gustafsson, or even if they decide to go with Jesper Wallstedt. Okay, those are both Minnesota. Talking about an embarrassment of riches, but either one of those guys, I am a-okay with. All they need to do is put up 60 strong minutes. Sweden can win that game.
Yeah, I feel like it's also a
Speaking
little
of,
bit the other way when it going back to the U.S. is like if it comes down to the wire, like the smallest of differences, if the U.S. dresses or don't does not dress T.J. Miller, like that's
J.T.
the
Miller.
J.T.
JT Miller,
Miller,
yep.
sorry,
Yeah, he's
that
also a
could
bit
be
of
the
an
wire.
anchor back there.
It's he's the reason why Nelson didn't get his hat trick, even though that was a bullshit call to begin with. But like he's
Yeah.
had numerous bad plays out there, numerous. It's like it's I was saying comparisons like Miller versus the no BS captain versus the versus Robertson being there on the team. It's just like everyone would be playing much better if Robinson was there instead.
Yeah, I think, to Dee's point earlier about them needing scoring, Robertson would have been
Yeah.
a very helpful addition with that. I would have even taken Robertson over Vincent Trocheck, but especially JT Miller. For all of the benefit that he brings, he has not brought it for a while. So um, I still give the edge to the States, but
Yeah.
Sweden, it sounds like their coaching staff is learning from their mistakes. So all
Yeah,
I got to say to
it's
that is look out.
and we cannot trust the USA's coaching staff. That's for sure. I mean, if we could, the Rag to be a much better team.
So, Will, going back to
Yeah.
earlier when you were
Yep.
talking about Minnesota having absurd amount of riches in net.
An embarrassment of
Their
riches. Yep.
their top goalie in Iowa, Samuel Havlaj, is the goalie for
Oh, the
Slovakia.
Slovakia. That's right.
Oh, I didn't know
So
about that.
Yeah,
sorry to sidetrack us here with a bit of NHL talk here, but
It's been 50% of the
does
things we talked about is NHL
Minnesota
talk.
Minnesota's got to trade one of those. If you got Hlavage, okay, and hopefully I said that right, from Slovakia, who looks like an absolute killer, you trade Wallstedt or Gustafsson, and you get an absolute, like, it's got to be a one for one deal, and it's got to be somebody important. Like, I'm trying to think of who's available. I mean,
The Rags are
that sounds
selling.
like a summer problem. Sounds like a summer problem.
The Rags
I don't.
have a burnt out Jonathan Quick
I mean,
and
it could
and
be.
a broken Igor.
I mean, it could be a summer problem, maybe. Certainly having both Wallstedt and Gustafsson in the playoffs would be exceptionally beneficial. But
Yeah.
what if you got, you know, gosh, I don't know. What if you went to, and now Vancouver doesn't really need a goalie right now, but what if you went to Vancouver and said, hey, are you willing to eat some salary for Elias Pettersson? And we give you, one of Gustafsson or Jesper Wallstedt. Um, just as a name to throw out there. I don't think Vancouver's like exploring the possibility of trying to retool. I think they're going to go scorched earth approach this time. At least I hope for Vancouver fans that that's the approach they're going to take. But like
Yeah,
you
Aquilino
get
agrees with you.
you get a top you get a superstar for superstar trade here, and all of a sudden Minnesota is not just scary, but they're better than Colorado.
Well,
They're
Minnesota might have to trade that Slovak goalie. Trade that Slovak goalie if they're going to do it with a team like Vancouver, who is likely going to go scorch earth.
Oh, that's not a bad idea either. Yeah, if you could, if Hlavic's performance nets you, ooh, I know Toronto might be selling, can net you a Bobby McMahon for your third line, um, or maybe even you're looking at Nick Robertson, um, for for that. I don't think the Leafs are looking for goaltending either, but like options are out there,
Yeah,
teams are selling.
yeah. I
You
don't.
got to move one of those three to just shore up your team for the playoffs because you've got to beat Colorado.
Yeah,
And honestly, if you beat Colorado, there's nobody in the East that comes close to Minnesota, in my opinion. Tampa
So
is good, but they're not close.
Jesper Wallstedt is an RFA after next season. Philip
So, like,
Gustafson
that
team
could
signed a
be
big
certainty.
that
contract
could be a really
already.
good trade, all season trade. Then if he's an RFA after next season, because some people see a team might want to give him a tryout, a warranty tryout, and then if they like him, keep him. If they sign him again, if they don't like him, then get rid of him for that one season.
Yeah,
Also,
that could be an
Hlaj is
option.
an RFA this summer, so
Two team controlled contracts. Like you could do worse, moving like getting onto the grabbing those players,
Yeah,
and that just ups their value as well, right? So I think there are options there.
eventually.
If if I were Edmonton, I might even call Minnesota about Hlavage. I
Edmonton
don't
just
know.
takes goalies and ruins them. It's
Oh, but also Minnesota's like, why would I give you the tools necessary to beat us? So I don't know
it's
about
true
that,
as
but
well. I mean,
so
like there's lots of players out there, and Minnesota has there's a move there that Minnesota can make to shore up this team for the playoffs. I don't think that if I were GM of Minnesota, I would not make this an off-season thing. I would
if
make my team as unbeatable as possible right now.
if they
the
were to
issue
make a
is
deal with one of these goalies for a player from our team, which type of player in which position would you put it in then? No,
You want
obviously, Robs, we're going like way off of the Olympics, but just out of curiosity.
to Minnesota, so they've got scoring with Kaprizov, right? They've got an offensive defenseman
they have
in Quinn
two
Hughes.
offensive defensemen. Brock
Oh, that's
Faber as
right,
well.
Brock Faber. Yep. So maybe you're looking for a shutdown guy. You could. Rasmus Anderson's already been traded from Calgary. Um,
I don't know who they would pick up, but my personal
ooh,
opinion, based off of what I remember hearing before, is that they should go for a shutdown physical defenseman, because I saw something, what was it, a week or two ago, that it was either the NHL writers or the ESPN writers or the athletic writers, one of those bigger known groups, ranked Minnesota's defense as like 31st or 32nd in the league before the trade for Quinn Hughes, and then with Quinn Hughes they put him in like the top five. Well, that means your entire defense is reliant on one player. So if something happens with that, say Sam Bennett or Jacob Truba, with Jacob being a real option there potentially with the playoffs, goes flying elbow into the side of his head and lands this time, then you're
Jacob
back down to bottom
Truba,
defense.
Truba has a
right.
no movement clause, so
Oh no, I'm saying if they hypothetically if they play the Ducks, if the Ducks get their act together a bit again. Uh,
but going back to I understand we want to get to the NHL, but going back to Slovakia, they won their group.
sure.
Which
They got
insane,
they
absolutely insane.
direct line to the quarterfinals, and their quarterfinal match will be against either Germany or France. Most likely Germany, which
Yeah, I
is a
think that's
game
safe
they
to say.
can win. Yeah. So Slovakia being the biggest surprise in
Was
Yeah.
this
was
Olympic
that?
run.
Do you guys remember that one? I think it was it was a Detroit fan who was like really surprised that, or a Montreal fan that was really surprised that they took Slav instead of Zadina. Was that the same? Was that the same draft?
No, Zadina was 2016, I want to say, and
2016.
Slavkovsky was 2020.
Regardless, like Slavkovsky is
All right,
a
22,
gamer.
22.
Montreal is lucky to have him. They've been really patient with him, let him grow, and he is an absolute stud.
Montreal's doing
Um,
really well drafting and trading just as a whole for the past few years.
yeah, as a Leafs fan, the Atlantic Division is an absolute cemetery of Leafs hopes and dreams. Montreal is going to be good for the next 10 years. Um, their goalies are good. They got young, fantastic forwards. They've got Lane Hudson on D. Like they have an embarrassment of riches too, and they're only going to get better. They have a coach that they'll run
And
through a brick wall for.
the biggest thing, they got a embarrassment of riches, like you said, but they got a embarrassment of riches that are locked down.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and Slapkovsky is a huge piece of that. And watching him take control in the Finland game was amazing. Even the NHL.com headline had a headline was like "Live Slav Love" or something like that, and I thought it was very clever.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Yeah. But going back to the bracket, Slovakia has a real shot at a medal, depending on how things turn out.
yeah,
All you need,
it's
like
I mean, they're
They're
most likely going to be
they're
Germany. Assuming Germany is the one that makes it.
and then
And
on their side of the bracket, they're playing Finland. They
oh, they
already
are
beat.
okay. So the infographic from NBC or I can't remember who shows it the other way. Shows different ways. It
Oh,
doesn't.
you
It
know
only
what? I'm
shows.
reading it wrong. Yeah, because U.S. got the number 2 seed. Then it'll be Slovakia versus the U.S.
Yeah, I feel like the U.S. has that. I mean, we could be set up for the rematch from last year of U.S. Canada final.
I
It's
will say
it's
this. I will say this. Don't uh, think the U.S. is going to do as well as you think because we've discussed there are scoring deficiencies. Yes, they've beaten up on a weak group. They had a very weak group. That was the weakest group of all of them.
They did. Though, so
And they're
I
playing Sweden now.
y
Sweden, which has
the average talent for that group was high was lower. Yes, sorry. They didn't have like the higher talent with it, but like they also didn't get put in a group with Italy or France.
yeah, you can't really hold that against them. They didn't choose, at least as far as I know, they didn't choose what group they wanted to be
How
in.
would the U.S. get to
Um,
choose where they went up against? It's not like for the
they
host, like
hold on.
like a
They
World
did
yeah.
one.
Juniors. You had to choose your group if you're hosting and you want to be in the other
So
group for some reason.
so
Yeah.
Mike, they did that in 2018. They put Canada and the U.S. in the same group so that they could have the group stage game at Ralph Wilson Stadium for the outdoor game.
I
They
mean, they
did
Not a
could.
bad idea, honestly.
I mean, they always do it like they always can do. Well, you're referring to the World Juniors game.
Yeah, 2018. They did
Yeah.
that.
Oh, no, okay. No, for a second, I thought you were talking about a different tournament. You know, for World Juniors,
Still
that's been pulled
IIHF.
multiple times.
That's fair.
It's yeah, whatever.
Um,
The last one I think we haven't talked about yet is at least for the quarterfinals is Switzerland Italy, which I think is actually going to be really entertaining to watch.
Switzerland
Switzerland
and
is
who? Sorry.
Italy,
Oh, Italy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, Switzerland probably wins that.
likely. I mean, that's
easy.
what
They
you
were the
I'm
5
expect.
seed.
I'm really hoping for another Frigo goal though, at the very least, because I think he's got a fantastic name. Um,
I
but
want
yeah,
to see
Switzerland likely takes that.
see the host country with zero NHL players and not even using a IHF Olympic exception to pull Italian heritage players in. They're just actual Italian players to win at least one game. And
I
unfortunately,
mean,
it seems like it has to be against Switzerland.
That's true. So hold on. If Italy did beat Switzerland, who would they be playing in?
Finland.
I would screw. Yeah, they play Finland.
Oh, interesting. Okay, and then didn't Finland spank them
Finland
11
would
nothing?
spank them again. Oh yeah, we know this would
Yeah,
happen.
Yeah.
But I would love to see the host country of no NHL players beat somebody.
yeah, that's fair. I mean, that would be definitely good for the Italian hockey scene.
Yeah, it's and Switzerland is very highs and lows. This will just be a low term for them, and next year they'll make it. They'll make it to the semifinal. Well, next Olympics or next year with the Worlds, they'll make it to the semifinal somehow. No one will know how, but it's Switzerland goes high and low every few years.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Hey, sorry, guys. I got to drop off.
All right. This is all right. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you later. Oh, he's gone.
There he's gone. We can edit that. Yeah,
Do you want to do the quick icy data spot, and then I guess we can
yeah,
leave it at that.
yeah. Oh, my little write up for the IcyData spot seemed to have disappeared. Give me a second.
All right.
There we go. All right. This episode is powered by IcyData, project we are working on. It's got advanced hockey analytics, PWHL coverage, and game predictions with my model, IcyCast. And if you want to take a sneak peek at what's coming next, you can check out the new version at v2.icydata.hockey.
All right. Thank you guys for tuning into the first episode of the icy data podcast. We look forward to having more in the future. Let us know your feedback down below. We'd love to hear it because this is our very first attempt.
Peace out, guys.
See ya.